What you'll hear here is basically the solo track to a song called White Rock Beer 8 Cents off of my recent album Pure. We don't play the melody, just took the solo choruses and played over that. Very simple, straight ahead 12-bar blues. There's a little tag at the, no, we didn't use the tag, I'm sorry. It's a very simple 12-bar blues in the key of E. And goes like this, and we'll talk a little later. It's got a great sound to it, got a great feel to it, super basic, right? Super like on the ground. I mean, I had the bass players just play this. You know, the tendency for everyone I've ever played this with is to go. And, you know, at least in this case, that wasn't what I wanted. I wanted a lot more space. And there's a mood in there, you know? You hear that minor third. Now I'm playing, the bass line is playing minor third, but the chord is A7. Totally works. Back to this. And then when it goes to the 5 chord, it is staying on the 5 chord instead of going down to the 4, right? So it's boom. So it's kind of major and minor, and it's slow change, right? It's a full 4 bars before you go to the 4 chord. And you linger on the 5 chord instead of drop down to the 4 chord. And they're all basically 7 chords, you know, the A7, B7. And the E's kind of E minor, E raised 9. But we flirt with the major third in there as well. So let's put the solo on there. And then we'll talk about the different concepts I use to play through it. Once again, I'm starting out playing in a minor pentatonic mode through the first couple of choruses of this, and then I start introducing the scale that runs through it. And this is pretty much E minor, so the scale would be down a whole step, and that, once introduced, that starts to just open up the improvisation a little bit beyond that pentatonic sound, All pentatonic. That's kind of an interesting phrase because I'm playing the flatted ninth there, but it's a chromatic flow there, so those half steps don't really bother the ear. And I played that to get to the A7. One. Right. Still pretty pentatonic there. That's pretty pentatonic. So it's a way that, you don't really want to play too scalular on a blues. It's a blues, But one way to introduce the D scale, right? How about that one? A 1. So I'm playing. Right? Okay, so the same kind of concepts whenever we do that sort of thing. But a blues is a blues, and so the tendency is to stick a little bit closer to the E minor pentatonic and introduce these things sparingly throughout the solo. And like for me, it's a nice way to get to the 4 chord. To play those things to get to the 4 chord really works. That, the use of the D major scale to get to the 4 chord. 1. Like that. So a blues. So I just went right straight down the scale. A 1. Now, a lot of people are unaccustomed to having their hands open like this. And that's how I get to it, but it could be played in that position. So I'm so used to that fingering. suppose it can be done without using the fourth finger and just using the third one. It's just a little harder. And the triads, because it's the key, the major scale is D. The triads are going to be D, G, and A. G and A. D. E minor triad, right? One. Thumb, bap, boodle, dee. Right? Thematic development. Just play the lick again and extend it. Something that I'm sure people find maybe a little frustrating about my playing is I like take big jumps, you know? That's a leap. This finger was here, now it's there. This. You might go, right? I find myself doing that. So the major scale, very useful there, especially once again going into the D chord. For some reason, that just harmonically works. And I treat that A chord in a real, not so much that, but more scalular. That D scale. That's where I'll really play that scale on the A chord. And I'll treat the E minor as pentatonic and the B as pentatonic, pretty much. So, you know, you can play that altered chord sometimes, but again, on something that's funky, it's nice to keep it funky. And then use that A chord for spice. Major scale. It sounds like something, right? You kind of play it quickly, and you're not using it all over the place. It just kind of happens on that A. That would be a good recommendation, I think. At least it's just kind of how I spontaneously think.